Hey guys, I'm going to start a new topic, that is UiPath Apps. I'm going to cover UiPath app from basics. You'll be able to design a similar app by the end of the video. You are going to learn what is value binding, what is controls, and how to design an overall app through this video. So without any further delay, let's get started. As I promised, we are going to start everything from basics. If you are a beginner, you have no idea how UiPath app works. By watching this video till the end, you will be able to design a basic app. So first of all, let's see a demo. Okay, let's see a demo. So this is the app that I have designed for the basic learning purpose. I'm going to hit on preview. Okay, and you can see it is loading the application that I have designed on the UiPath Apps Studio. Here it is asking to enter some value and hit on search. So what is this value? I'm going to show you. So I've created a simple Excel file. In the Excel file, I have the customer ID 1001, customer name, let's say James Taylor, and his phone number, some fake number I have put. So I've created a simple Excel sheet here, or a database you can call. Similarly, in the sheet 2, I'm having how much amount he needs to pay, total payable, and last time how much he has paid. Let's say your credit card bill is $5,000 and you have paid only $1,000. So last paid is, so like that. Okay. So here I have for the same customers with the name and the ID, some values I have put. Now what this application is supposed to do, the moment I enter any ID, for example, I am entering 1003. What is the customer name? Daniel Thomas. Okay. So the exact output should appear in the app. So let me go to the app and I'm going to enter 1003 and hit on search. So the moment I hit on search, this is called value binding. This is called value binding. I'm going to teach you. So what this is doing, 1003, it has taken the input from the app. Okay, from the app it has taken the input. It will start a process in the computer. Okay, you can see the job started processing and it's fetching details from the Excel file, which is working like a database. So let's give it few seconds for it to complete. Okay, it's completed. Let's go to the app, wait for a few seconds. Now you can see the value, the output has come, Daniel Thomas, and the total payable amount has come. Let's compare it with the Excel. So it is 589, 150. If I go back, all the required values has appeared. Getting it? So how this is being done, we are going to learn, and you are going to learn a lot many things how from the basics. Okay, what is a control, what is a value binding, how to utilize the properties, everything I'm going to teach from the basics. So let's get started. Let's see the UiPath app design stages. In the very first thing, I'm going to teach you about the front end design. How will you design the front end using UiPath Apps Studio? The next thing, the next stage is designing the backend. The backend is nothing but your UiPath Studio project. Okay, how will you design the backend? I'm going to show you that. Once the backend is designed for processing, I am also going to teach you the third stage, which is linking between the front end and the backend. These are the three stages we are going to learn UiPath app. Now, from the front end, what happens? The user will enter an input in the search field and he's going to hit on search. Once he does it, the input will be passing to the backend for processing. The input will pass to the backend for processing, and once the processing is done, now the output is passed from the backend workflow or the process. From there, it is going to flow back to the front end, and in the front end, you will see the output. So that's about the designing architecture of UiPath app we are going to learn today. Let's start the front end design. The very first thing you will have to do is log into cloud.uipath.com, and then on the left hand side panel, here you find this three square icons, right? So this is for apps. Highlight your mouse, you'll be able to find the name. Click on this particular app. So wait for a few seconds, it is going to launch the Cloud Studio app. Alright, so you can see the Cloud Studio app is there. Now here, to start with, you will have to click on this build new app. Okay, so build new app, click on this, or click on this button and give it some name. Let's say we will give some name, for example, customer detail customer details app. Okay, something like that. Give it a name and then click on create. You don't have to make it a public app, simply keep it as it is and hit on create. Okay, so this is where you find, okay, here it will ask you to select the blank page or any other template. Right now, because we are starting, we'll go with the blank page and click on select. All right, done. Nothing much, so you can go through those details. Now you got a blank page. From here actually your learning starts. What to do first? Okay, so this is a blank page given to you. From here you will be starting designing the app. So the very first thing, look at this button. This is called add control. Click on this button and then there you find 4 different options: input, display, containers and icons. Okay, now to start with, first we will go with container. Let me first show you what is there inside input. If I click on input, what you find? A button, a checkbox. So all you have to do is drag and drop. Okay, pretty simple one. Button, checkbox, radio button. Okay, the familiar things I'm talking about. Text box. Okay, input, where you can take an input from the user. So there are a couple of icons for that input, and then there is second one to minimize. Here is the button, and then for display there are a couple of buttons. For example, list, table. Okay, display. I mean, customer will not have an option to enter anything. It will just to show. Okay, just to show. So it's called display. Display control. You call them as controls. And then there is something called container. Okay, container, and you have got different layouts. Now to start with, for this project, I am going to first drag and drop this container layout. Okay, container layout. Done. Now what we are going to do, I am going to slightly enlarge this to fit into the page. So here is the button. Keep your mouse pointer here. Okay, keep the mouse pointer here and slightly drag. So in this one, I am going to write the name of the app. Okay, I'm going to write the name of the app. Now to write the name of the app, okay, next thing, once again click on add control, and I need a kind of a header I need. Okay, so I'll go to display, and here let me look for header. Drag and drop the header, and here you can give any name. So here we will stick to the name. What is the name? So this is the property panel. On the right hand side you have the property panel. Let me write a name. Let's say customer details app. Okay, give any name. So done, and click outside. So here you got it. Now there are a couple of options here. I'm going to show you. Let's click on style. Okay, so if you click on this stretch, what would happen? The entire button is stretched out completely, and you can select whatever you want. Let's say headline 1, I would select. The style will slightly change. This is slightly bigger size. And now let's say I would like to give a background color to it. Let me give some color like this. So you can see the background color has come. You can make it slightly light. Whatever whatever your choices. Okay, done. And after that, this is a bit of styling I'm doing to the header, and then I would like to keep this in the center. Okay, fine. And I would like to slightly tilt it. Fine. So like this, all these designings can be done here. You want to increase the size a little bit. Let's say 33. I want to make, so it become 33. All right. So ensure while you designing, you have to highlight the, you should be sure, because if you click here and there, it will keep changing. You can see it went to main page. If you click on this, the highlighter is coming to the customer detail app. Okay, so be careful about this. Now let's say the color of the text, I would like to probably make it white to make it slightly better. Fine, so all fine. So I'm good with this. So this one you have understood how to design. Now below this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on add control, and I'm going to add probably a page we will add. So I'm going to drag and drop a page container. Okay. Now what is this page container? I'm going to talk about it. Now in the front end, if you click on something, it takes you to another page. You come back to the home page, again click on something, it will take you to another page, right? Those kind of designings we have seen in the normal websites we have seen. The same concepts apply here. So this is the main page. First thing what we will do, we'll give it as root page or host, anything you would like to give. So this is the main one. This is kind of a container under which we will add a page. Inside this, I will show you, okay, you will understand the difference. Now inside this, what I'm going to do, I would like to add a page. So I'm going to click on this button, okay, and hit on page, and I will select a blank page, select. So what happened by this one, below this root, you see, right, this small box, this is linked with, under this we have a new page, under this one, okay, under this one we have this new page. Okay, now let me give it a name to this page. Let's say fetch customer detail page. Okay, I'm giving the name to this page. Now we'll have to link it. Okay, so I'll click on this and then I'm going to link this page to this container. Getting it what I did? So once again I'll say in the page container, highlight this, click on the property panel on the page, and the child page which I have created below, I'm just linking it so that the container understands in this container this is the page which is linked. I can have multiple pages like that. So for the moment I'm only linking one page here. Okay, done. Now let's click on this child page, and in the child page let's do the designing. Getting it till now? What we have done here, we have the header, we understood how to do it, and below that we have kept a small container we have kept, okay, a page container. This page container is linked to a child page, and here is the child page which is currently blank. Now to show the difference, what I'm going to do, in this child page I'll click on the style and I'm going to slightly change the color of it so that you understand the differences. Okay, too bright. Okay, this should be fine. So this is the color I have selected. Now look at it, what happens if you go to the main page, this color has appeared. Okay, for example, let me change the color of it so that you understand the page container is linked to this. So let me change the color to, let's say, blue. Let me give a deep blue for the moment. Just see how it is appearing. You see, it is linking to the page. So this is the background of the page. So deep blue is slightly hard to the eyes. So let me make it slightly smoother. Fine, this should be fine. Okay. Alright, now let's design on this child page. I'm going to design a couple of things. Okay, what I'm going to do, I will first add a control. Okay, I want input control, input, so the customer can enter the customer ID. So I'll use a text box. So drag and drop a text box. Okay, before you do anything, ensure there's a container. Inside the container you are adding the controls. Okay, so container, I will use this container layout, and I am going to make it slightly smaller. Okay, let it be like this. And inside this, so you are in the page, main page, okay, the child page. I'm going to hit on add control, and let me drag and drop a text box. Okay, text box should be here, text box. Okay, drag and drop. Now here, if you see in the new design, along with the text box you find something called label. Let's say I do not need that label, I just need the text box. So how can I remove that? You highlight that particular text box and then hit on general, and here there's an option here. If you see label, I'm going to just delete the letter, and the moment you do it, this is gone. This is just a simple text box which has come. Very good. After this, let me add a button to it. Button. Okay, so the button has been added. Now highlight this container, the white container. Okay, I'm highlighting this. I'll go to the style, and in the style, let me keep it at the center. So what I will do, I want to actually make it horizontal. Okay, so that this button and this appears like this. So I have selected horizontal, and then I've selected this, and then I want to keep it to the right. So this become a, here in the button we can name it. Okay, we can change the name. To change the name, you go to general, and I'm going to write search. Simple. And here I would like to add an icon. So how do you add an icon? Highlight this button, always highlight. Okay, highlight the button and then look at the properties. If you select this, then the property will be different. So always select the button where you would like to walk. Now in this one, there is an option here called icon. Okay, so click on this. Click on this, then you see sometime what would happen. If you on the right hand side, there's a small button. If you click on this and then try to click, you do not see that pop-up window which has come few minutes back, right? Few seconds back. So I'm going to click on this icon. It should be like this. Okay, have a small finger icon. Okay, it should be like this. Then you should click on this button, I mean inside the button, and then look for the icon that you need. So I need a search icon. Select this, whatever you like. Okay, you can select this. Now you can see how nicely it has appeared. Getting it? Okay, so this is done. Now if you go to the main page, this is how it will appear. Okay, if you go to the main page, look at this, how the designing has been done. This is how it is appearing. Now let's go back once again to the child page. We still have to design a lot of things, so we can slightly minimize this, right? It's looking slightly bigger, so I can just minimize this to look better. Okay, this is fine. Now after this, I need one more container. So if you need this white containers, highlight the previous container and click on the plus sign. That way you will have a similar container created, and then you can resize it as you need. So I'm going to resize it like this, and I'm going to click a plus sign like this. So two more containers been created in this container. So you can see how we are creating accordingly. The tree structure is getting created automatically. You don't have to worry about it. So how you are dragging and dropping things, likewise the tree structure is also getting created. Now in this container, I need a text box. So I'll click on this, and I need a text box. Okay, and you can write, let's say I need two details, right? What are those? The first is I need a customer name. I need the customer name and the phone number, right? So same thing we will do here. So you will not be able to write anything on the left hand side. Come to the properties panel, and in the properties panel start typing. So here I will say customer name. Maybe later in the future release they might add few new features to this, but again at the moment it's not there. So I'm going to copy this, paste it. Let me slightly enlarge this window. Okay, so I am going to copy and paste inside the container. Copy. Okay, it was slightly slow, but again it's working. Okay. Okay, now for this one I'm going to say customer name, and this should be a phone number, right? So I will say phone number. Done. Now what would happen, for example, if I look at the preview, you can always check how you are designing. Anytime you can just open the preview and see how it is working. So what is happening until now, we will see the header customer detail app. We saw the search button wherein customer can put some input like 1003 customer ID, and he can search. And then we saw the customer name and phone number. Now this customer name and phone number should not be editable box. You can see a user can type it here. We don't want anybody to type it inside. Now to avoid that, or just to disable that, all you do, highlight the text box, go to the property, and here in lowercase you have to type true, lowercase. Okay, and then click outside. So same thing I will repeat for the phone number. Disabled is equals to, I'll say true, and click outside. Now look at the preview. Okay, look at the preview. Now you can see I cannot type. The moment I'm clicking on it, these are all disabled. The user cannot enter anything. Okay, so here only he can enter. Fine. Now let's do a bit of more designing. Let me delete this. Let me simply copy this. Okay, so you can see everything has come. You can copy these activities. There is another way. For example, let me delete this. You can directly copy this, highlight the container and copy the entire container and paste it. That is also possible. But again, this has become quite large. Okay, let me do a Control G because I think this is the better way. I'll copy both the boxes and select the container, copy paste. Okay, copy and then paste. Slightly slow. Okay, so the another option, if you see, this is the container. So this is the container which has everything, right? So you can also right click and click on duplicate. This is also another way. So that way everything has come. Now all you need to do is change it. So what are the things we need? We need two different things: total payable and last paid, right? So here I will come and in the customer name I'm going to say total payable, and in this one I will say last paid. Okay, so everything else, all the properties remain the same. So overall designing, the front end designing is done. Okay, so we are done with the front end design. Let's have a final preview how it is appearing. Okay, so you can see customer detail app and the front end designing has been completed, looking good. But again, this is not yet functional. We have to go to the second stage of doing the back end design, and then the third stage will be the linking the both the designs, front end and back end. We have to link it together. So the front end design is done. Now I want to also show you, if you go to the page root page, you can see initially we had a small line. Now you can see all the designs that we have done in the child is also appearing in the root one. Okay, because the root is nothing but it contains the child, so it is coming, everything is coming properly. So the front end design is done. Now let's move on to the next stage, which is back end design. Now for the backend design, let me start maybe a new workflow. We'll create a new sequence so that I can guide you. So this is the backend design. Okay, and I'm going to click on create. All right. Now here we should first have a look at the Excel file. So this is our Excel file. Now this Excel file contains a customer ID in the sheet 1, and then we need to pull the customer name, and then we need to pull the phone number. Like in the front end, somebody is going to enter the customer ID, then the output should be the corresponding customer name and the corresponding phone number. Let's say I'm entering 1003, then Daniel Thomas should be the output as the customer name, and this should be the phone number. So how do you design that in a workflow? Okay, that is important. So let's move on to our studio and let's start designing it. Now the very first thing that I need is we'll go to the activity, and I need the Excel package. Okay, so in case you don't have it, please ensure you go to manage packages and install the UiPath Excel activities. Okay, now the Excel activity, the first thing we have to do, because this is a modern design, right? I'm using 2023.4, the latest one. So first thing is I am going to use the Excel process scope, drag and drop. Okay, and inside the, no need to do anything with the property, drag and drop the next thing, which is use Excel file. Okay, once again, nothing to do with the property at the moment, just leave it as it is. Here it is asking you, okay, where is your Excel file? Now before that, I would recommend that you have already created an Excel file like this. Okay, it's a pretty simple one. it takes some 2 minutes of time just to draft something. Okay, instead of a customer name, you can also put A B C D and some 1 2 3 4 like that. So it's quite easy to create. So go ahead and create this first. Okay, so once this is created, we'll go to the studio, and all I have to do it here is to I just have to point it out. So I'll click on this button, and it is there in the documents. I'm going to select this and click on open. So the Excel file is pointed out. Now we are done with this activity. Inside this, because you saw the requirement, right? If 1003 is given to you, you should be able to find. I will go to the sheet one first. If 1003 is given to you, you should be able to find Daniel Thomas. So what activity you have to use? Do you know it? Okay, so no worries. In case you know it, well and good. If not, let me tell you, the activity that we will be going for is a lookup activity. Okay, this is a lookup activity. So how this works, I am going to tell you. For example, I'll put some hard-coded value at the moment. Okay, I'm not using any variable. Let me put some hard-coded value so that we run a test and see how the output is coming. So let me enter 1003. Okay, here I'm entering 1003. Done. Value to lookup. Now in below that it's saying range. Range means this particular value in which column it is there. So here I'm going to click on the plus sign, Excel, and indicate in Excel. Excel, indicate in Excel. Now in the Excel, I will highlight. Okay, I'll highlight this column because in this column we have that 1003, right? So entire range I'm going to highlight and then hit on confirm. Done. Now source of the result. Now which value I would like to get? I would like to get the customer name. So I'll again click on the plus sign, Excel, indicate in Excel, and I need this one. So I'm going to select the range. You can also select like this. So I'm selecting, it's a small table, so I'm selecting like this, confirm. Okay, so the source of the result, where the result is there, I'm going to highlight that range as well. Understood? Now I'm going to store this in a variable. Let's say I'll create a simple variable called a. Let's say a. Now let's see this output, how it is coming. I'll use a message box, drag and drop this message box, and here I'm going to say a. Okay, now this is the logic. Okay, the same logic we will repeat it for all the rest of the things. Okay, so here I'm going to hit on save and I'm going to debug. Let's say okay, give it a few seconds. I feel the newer 2023.4 is quite quick compared to the older one. It's quite fast. Okay, so you can see the output has come. Okay, on my screen you can see Daniel Thomas, which is correct. So you understood the logic. All right, so now the same logic you need to repeat for all other cells. Okay, like how you have pulled the this one, the same thing you need to repeat. Now let me tell you a few important things, because here you will not deal with variables like this. Okay, for example, here you have the a variable. You will not deal with a variables. You will deal through arguments. Remember, you will deal through arguments. I'll show you. So what you do, go to the arguments. So this 1003, right? So this is nothing but customer ID. So I'll create a variable called customer ID, which is a in argument, not a variable, argument. In underscore customer ID, which is in argument, which is supposed to be a string, integer, right? So I'll say integer. Now the out variable, what is the out variable? One is out underscore customer name is one variable which is supposed to remain string. The next output that we need is out underscore phone number. Okay, so all this should be out. So likewise you will be creating the variables for all the other parameters. Okay, and this supposed to be the customer name supposed to be string, fine. Phone number should be double. Okay, so you have to select system dot double. So browse for types, system dot double, fine. So once you have this, I'll show you, okay, how it is working. So here in the VLOOKUP or the value to lookup, you will say customer ID, the argument, right? Argument is in underscore customer ID. So this becomes the input for the lookup activity, and the output here we want to fetch the customer ID, right? So you will write out dot, sorry, customer name, right? So out customer name, getting it? So in underscore customer ID becomes the input, and the out underscore custom becomes the output. So likewise, so I am not going to design everything here. You understood the logic. Look at this, how I have designed. So here I have created, first thing is I have created some 1 2 3 4 5 arguments. The first argument is a customer ID, which is an in argument. I forgot to write in underscore, you can maintain that in, and the rest of the 4 are out arguments: phone number, customer name, total payable, last paid. This is what we need, right? Customer name, phone number we need, and from the sheet 2 we need total payable and last paid. So based on that I have created 5 different arguments. So once these arguments are created, then you start designing the same logic what I said. First you use a Excel process code, below that you are using a Excel file. Okay, and then I am using a report status activity, so that while that runs it will say fetching details. I'll show you that. Okay, so report status activity, simply type it here, report status activity. So drag and drop this activity. Okay, and you can type any text inside that, and then below that I've started doing the same thing. See, customer ID, and then it is passing it to customer name. Customer ID it will search, and the customer name will be passed to this variable. Same way, customer ID is the input, then I need the phone number. Same thing, I'm repeating the same thing, just changing the variable and the source of result, where that result is there. For example, customer name was there in the B1 B6. Customer name was there in B1 to B6, right? B1 to, I mean, in this column, and the phone number is there from C1 to C6 phone number. So I'm saying C1 to C6. The same thing, you have to just locate it. It is in the sheet 2. Okay, the next one is total payable is in sheet 2, and the total last paid is also in C2 D range. So say all the same activity I'm repeating 4 times to fetch the 4 outputs. Okay, and then I'm using a write line activity. This is not required. I'll delete this. Delete. This is to test. Okay, during testing I have done it. Okay, and also the argument types are important. Okay, the phone number, which should supposed to be double, total payable, if there are more numbers then put double. Okay, this will be more easy, or the right way of defining the data type. Okay, so simple design. Okay, this you can design. I'll wait for you, so design it completely and then we'll proceed to the next stage. Okay, so now with this the designing stage is complete. Okay, so wait, and now after this, after you are done, we will move on to the stage 3. Let's start the stage number 3, which is linking the front end with the back end, passing the input from the front end to the back end and getting the output from the process, from the back end design to the front end and show the output. So let's get started. Okay, so for the linking stage, let's go back to the studio first of all. Okay, so I've created this extra XAML file just to teach you. So I'm going to, do you want to save the file? No. And then I'll go to the projects tab. Let's clear it off. Okay, I don't need it, just for teaching purpose I've used it. Yes, so I need the main.xaml wherein I have the entire designing. Okay, backend designing. Now what I will do, let me save this and I'm going to hit on publish. I'm going to publish it to the orchestrator. Okay, in the linking stage, the very first thing we will do is publish. Go very slow. Automate with Rakesh 2023. Okay, fine. and then hit on next. Orchestrator tenant process feed. Sometime it might be workspace, ensure it should be tenant process feed, and then hit on next. Certificate, you can ignore this, hit on publish. Wait for few seconds. Okay, building packages. Okay, so you can see 1.0.17 has been published. Let's go back to the orchestrator, click on the tenant, click on the packages, and here I should be able to find automate with Rakesh 1.07. Okay, it is there. Okay, very good. So let me close it. Now I have deployed this in one of the folder. You might be having some other folder. So click on the folder, go to the process. Okay, and then you can create a process. So let me first delete. I had created one, the same package folder process I have created. So let me clear it. So let's start from the beginning. I'm going to click on add process and then select the package just now which I have uploaded. All right, and then you can see the arguments that we have created. Remember, customer ID, phone number, customer name, total payable, last bit, all those arguments have come here. So this is the input, the rest of it is output. Clear? I'm going to hit on, and the version is 1.0.17. Check all those options. Done. Hit on next. Give it a display name. I'll keep it as it is, automate with Rakesh. Fine, nothing to do here. I'm going to hit on create. So the process is now created. If you close this window, the process got created in the orchestrator. So you are done with the orchestrator. Let's go to the App Studio. So I'm in the App Studio. Let me just refresh the page. Okay, so all you have done, you have designed in the studio and you have uploaded that to orchestrator and created a process. Okay, for the linking, this is the first step. For the linking, this is the first step. You have created a process. Once the process is created, I'm going to expand this one. Okay, so I'll go to the fetch customer detail page. Okay, the child page. I'll go here. Now in this one, this button, search button, where the customer is going to enter some value, and then the customer is going to hit on search. So what I will do, when he enters some value, that value has to carried over to the in underscore customer ID. So what I will do for doing, before you get into linking that, the very first thing you have to click on this right side down arrow button. Okay, click on this button and then click on process button and then click on process. Select the tenant Rakesh. I'm going to hit on next. I have deployed the process in this one IT. I'll select that. I'm going to tick mark this, the current process. Okay, so number of processes that you have, this is going to appear over here. So you select the right one. I've selected and you can see input customer ID, output, these are the different arguments. Getting it from the process, and I'm going to hit on add. So what has happened now? The process which was there in the orchestrator, now it got linked with the App Studio. With this project customer details app, it got linked, and you can see below this you saw the orchestrator automated with Rakesh. If you highlight this, here you see 1.0.17. you will get the complete details of it. If you want to refresh, you can just click on this. Okay, so this much is understood. We uploaded the package to orchestrator and then we have created a process within the orchestrator. Once the process got created, we came to App Studio. Okay, within our project, what we have done, we have created a process and we have added the process over here. Okay, so once you have added the process, then we will link it. The linking will start from here. Actually, the linking will start from this stage. First, we'll work on this button, this search text box. Here, if you see the moment you highlight this, you see something called value binding or data binding. You call it as a value binding or data binding. So I'm binding. So when customer is entering something here, I'm going to click on this box. Then See here you have the process, expand the process. Then the value should get inside the in argument customer ID. So now it should be very clear to you. So what is happening? The moment customer is entering some value, it is going to get inside the argument in the customer ID argument of the process. Getting it? The process is there, but the values are not there. So we are passing the value, input value from this field of the app to the variable. So you will be very happy knowing this, right? So this is an important factor. So once he passes the value, then what should happen? He will click on search. The moment he clicks on search, the backend should start it should trigger the backend process. So the backend process is this one, automated tracking. So the moment customer clicks on this, then this process should automatically start. Now to do that, you highlight this button. Getting it? We are going stage by stage. You click on this button, and then here you need to click on events, and then click on create a rule. Okay, create rule. And here what I want to do, the moment customer clicks on that search button, then it should start a process. So I'm going to hit on start a process. Now the process that you have already linked, you can see, right, you have added a process. If you click on this, it is going to show you the process. If you click on this text box, here it is going to show the process. You just double click on this or click on it. It is going to automatically add the process. It is going to automatically give a name to the process, job name. It will automatically add. So leave everything as it is. Don't do anything else here. Now you can run this in attended mode, unattended mode. So this has other things, we can try it later. But at the moment, all you have done, added the process. Okay. Now when the process starts, someday you have seen, right, when you hit on the button, it will search, spin, kind of a spinning icon. If you want to show that when started, I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to use the spinner. If you type spinner here, just click and type spinner, you will find this. Click on it, and here you can write some value here. So let's say getting started. Okay, the first spinner will say getting started. And then when the state change, when the actual process will initiate, that time I would like to say let's say I want to say fetching details. I'll say fetching details. There are other ways of using spinner, but again for this time we'll keep it pretty simple. And when it is completed, when the process is completed, right, that time use the spinner once again. Okay, and here I want to stop that spinner, so the spinner will stop. Getting it? So simple design we have done. Once it is done, all you need to do is close it. So the moment customer is going to enter a value and hit on search, the process will automatically activate, and this particular button will, whatever value is entered, it will get into the customer ID, and the process will start. Based on that, the outputs will come over here. Now the output, there are 4 output arguments we have created. So same way we will link it. Highlight the customer name. Okay, customer name, then you see the property value binding. I am going to select the customer name. Okay, so customer name is linked with customer name. Phone number, value binding, phone number. So the output argument, phone number. So that means whatever the value is there in the phone number, it is going to appear over here. Okay, total payable, value binding, and I'm going to say total payable. Last paid, value binding, and I'm going to select last paid. Okay, with that you can see, if you highlight customer name, then phone number, then total payable, then last paid. This did not work, right? Last paid. Let me click on it once again. Okay, so everything is linked. So what exactly is happening? It is just running a process in the background, but the values are going from the application. Pretty simple, right? Now it becomes quite easy, right? So the values are going, the input value is going from the app to the argument, and the processing is happening, and the values are, the outputs are stored in a arguments, and the arguments are linked to the fields, and whatever the values will be there, it is going to appear over here. That's it. Pretty simple one. Okay, so you are done with the linking, you are done with everything. Now the final thing is we have to hit on preview, and let's do the testing. Okay, so for example, let me enter 1005, let's say. So let the app open. Now here I'm going to enter 1005, hit on search. So what is happening, you can see the spinner has come and it's saying getting started. Now it is saying fetching details. Do you see fetching details? So we'll wait for a few seconds. In a practical environment, it will be much faster. But again, you can see 1005, all the values have come: customer name, phone number, total payable, last paid, Martin White, right? So you can see Martin White, the value 1005, everything has come. So finally, actually what we have done, we have designed the app. A basic app we have created. It can become more complex as we understand how each of these activities, each of these controls work, how the value binding works. Once we have understood, now we can go for more complex designs. Okay, so please continue with the series where I am going to produce more contents around UiPath apps and you will get benefited. So we'll meet once again in our next content. Till then, take care. Bye bye.